Hopefully you guys can see it. It's kind of bright out here. So Jody's picking up something on the other side of this little fence.
Eckendorf family mausoleum.
Do we have anybody in the cemetery with us? What's up, Exeters? We're here in New Orleans to take you and visit St Roch Cemetery. So this cemetery is not like the normal cemetery. There's a shrine inside where people come and leave prosthetic body parts, fake eyeballs. Let's go check it out.
Nice. All right, so Sammy here is gonna explain to us on how to get in and out of a cemetery the right way.
All right, so I went on one of the tours, which was the City of the Dead tour where all the plague victims were buried. Well, our tour guide, he was like, now look, he's like, only the dead enter the gates. So technically you're supposed to walk in backwards and walk out backwards.
I be not dead.
Well, two of the people didn't walk out backwards when we were leaving the cemetery, and he wouldn't even let them on the bus. He straight stopped them, pulled them off, and was like, no. And he saged them down and made way to everybody else got on the bus, and they were the last ones. So walk back.
Okay, so
Nice. So we're walking backwards to get into this place.
wait.
Here we go. We're off to see the wizard. Now somebody moonwalking in. Slow motion. There we go. All right, you made it.
Fall down.
I don't know why I held my breath the whole time. I'm scared.
Oh yeah, you got the ghost, yeah.
I just scared myself again. I was like,
All right, so does anybody know the process of these?
Yeah. He said that whenever they, like, you know, the family's going to pay for it, and they seal them, but every time somebody from that family that's on, they got a list of who's going to go into these mausoleums of that family, and they have to crack the seal and then reseal it. And it's so many years, I can't remember if it was...
I think isn't it a year where the body lays and the heat basically cooks them like an oven?
Years, but they go in there and they remove the bones.
Well, they push them off.
Well, yeah, they push them off to make room for the next person that's on the list.
Yeah.
So
So these are basically
like
like big ovens.
They just in there like
body
smoking
bags
people.
in there.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Smoking people, not meats.
Yeah.
Body bags.
That's like one of them light reflectors that are in the road. That's what that looks like. There's the rest of
That's
it.
cool looking.
Your shoes are just fine and everything.
It was made out of
So if these are mausoleums, I wonder what those are right through there. Because that's not 6 feet in the ground.
No, because most of this is like below sea level. You can't.
So I wonder if there's, but that's not even high enough for even a casket.
I mean, they probably dig them out, but like it's got the wall, so in case the water.
Keep from washing out.
That'd be my bet.
Now this one right here looks like something you would see on a thriller TV show or a thing where they bust through the freaking bricks and come crawling out.
You mean a dumb white people horror movie?
Yeah.
The movies were not white enough.
Okay, so back in the beginning of the 1800s, yellow fever was spreading incredibly fast here in New Orleans, taking people out left and right. So the Reverend here was like, hey, we're going to pray to St. Roch, because in the 1300s, St. Roch contracted the plague
The Black Plague?
It just says plague.
Mm.
Okay. So basically, when they found out he contracted this, they banished him. Which is kind of douchey, but whatever. I guess that's their form of quarantine back then. We're going to banish you to the woods.
Yeah.
So he was in the woods by himself, and all of a sudden this large dog appeared and started bringing him bread and licking his wounds. St. Roch healed. That's when he became discovered, and he became a saint. He became the saint of good health.
The patron saint of miraculous cures.
So that's why whenever yellow fever hit here, they prayed to him. And actually nobody that went like to this chapel died. So whenever somebody's in need of something, they pray to him. And when they're healed, they come here and they leave things like prosthetic legs, fake eyeballs, braces, anything like that to show their thanks for healing them. So we're going to see if we can find the shrine. Well, there is, I saw in one video where there was I wonder if these windows, they covered them up because in somebody's video they couldn't get in, but they could see in the window and see the prosthetic legs and stuff. But you see how they got it covered now on both sides. I imagine not.
Same
It said
person.
it said that the cemetery is not that visited. Visited.
You go can find the person that locks the gates.
Okay, so the shrine is located inside. There's actually 2 rooms in this chapel. One room you see a statue of St. Roch and the dog, and the other room is where all the tokens of appreciation are left. So in other videos I've seen where people have visited this, you should have been able to see in those windows at least, but now they've got those covered up. Being real stingy with that. We're trying to look.
So I wonder when they open this place up for people to bring stuff by.
I don't know.
Well,
Because it said
that's
this.
why I say we can see
This
the
is
person that locks the gates. Maybe
this
that's
is one
weird.
of the least visited cemeteries here, and it said it's not unusual for you to visit it and be alone here, which is obvious. There was a couple people here when we pulled up. Now they're gone. I think we're the only ones here right now.
Yeah,
Somebody at the gate.
I've walked most of this and haven't seen anybody except for Josh and Jody who were down that way.
Yeah, they also say there's been time people seen the black dog in the cemetery and tried to, get close to it and call it to him, and like it would feel like when they get to the point where he didn't have nowhere to go, he just disappeared in front of their eyes.
And other people have stated that they see a hooded ghost. This is just a tall figure that walks through in a black robe. They can't see his face, but they assume he's a male because he is so tall.
Definitely not WNBA.
Definitely ain't no Charlotte Flair walking around.
You say Charlotte Flair.
She's the only tall wrestler I could think of.
It's also believed that there were a lot of voodoo rituals that were performed here, and they think that might be the cause for some of the supernatural activity that is here in the cemetery.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So one ghost story in particular that I found comes from, we have to find this grave. We need to find the grave or the tomb for James. Died, it's like in October. That's a picture of it that we need to find.
Does it give a roundabout where it's
No.
cemetery? It's not.
Hopefully you guys can see it. It's kind of bright out here. So Jody's picking up something on the other side of this little fence.
Eckendorf family mausoleum.
Do we have anybody in the cemetery with us?
Somebody else knows this is our town.
There's definitely something there right at the corner of just to the left of the mausoleum.
Is there a James here?
So on her thing, it's going to be right. It's showing right here in this general area.
What do you say? I thought he said speak up. I was like,
James, are you here in the cemetery?
Just chilling. At first I was like, is that real? The bird in that hole right there, see it?
Oh, yeah.
Is your last name Eckendorf?
How many spirits are in this cemetery?
Yeah, every time we go places, that's why we're always like quick to try to debunk it, because like, oh, maybe that's just your brain, because you know the where you're at and the history and stuff.
It was hot.
Yes.
Okay, so supposedly we looked around this whole cemetery for someone that's buried here named James, otherwise known as Jimmy. So Jimmy and his fiance, they were engaged to be married, but Jimmy was killed. So he was buried here. So before Jimmy was killed, he gave Carrie, which was a woman he was engaged to, a bunch of flowers, and they were varying colors. So he said, break the code. And so the code of these flowers were ILC for I love Carrie. So they had like this thing going with the flowers. So fast forward, Jimmy dies. She meets another man. He asks her to marry him. She comes to Jimmy's grave here at St. Roch and says, should I marry this man? And some flowers, some roses bloomed that indicated in their code NO, no. So she did not marry the man, supposedly. And a little while later, he was picked up and arrested from where he had killed 2 previous girls.
Nice.
Jimmy saved her from beyond. Good job, Jimmy.
And it was what he, the flowers that bloomed, they were rose bushes from his tomb. There were, it says 14 red and 15 blue. So I don't know how
Blue
that
roses?
equals NO, but it's whatever. It's their thing, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, we have walked all over this place. It's hot. It's raining.
You said 14 red and 15 blue?
Yes.
That's the letters N and O. 14 is N and 15 is O.
But I mean, the colors don't mean anything.
In the alphabet. Well, I mean, I don't know that. I'm just saying that 14 and 15, that would be N and O for no.
All right, so that does it for us here at St. Roch Cemetery.
I like, this is a nice cemetery.
It's
like
nice.
This is a really nice, peaceful place.
It's free if you're interested in cemeteries. It doesn't require any money or tour guide, so that's a plus.
And Renee found out that the reason the chapel isn't open to where we could go in there and see the gifts that are left here is because they're doing renovations. So that's why it's currently closed. Sucks.
And also, when you come in, on each side of the gate, there are statues, and those are actually supposed to be angels, but the wings got torn off of them during a storm. So, the more you know.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we don't know where Jimmy's at.
No, couldn't find Jimmy and his roses, but all in all, it was a pretty good experience.
Backwards out your cemetery.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what we're about to do right now is walk backwards out because my butt's sweating right now. I'm sure you guys wanted to know that. It's hot.
Yep.
And we're about to go on to the next.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, ring the notification. We'll catch you guys down the road at the next exit. Later.